Hello everyone, long time no see. It is KiwiGumdrop here and we are back with another video. And I actually never really properly named this series, but it is where I look back on a 5-year-old time capsule that I made when I was in the 8th grade. If you don't already know, I am a graduate, class of 2020. That is just so crazy to say, but in the 8th grade I wrote these, I think it was 5 time capsules, and in the last episode I read one of them, and today we're going to read another one. I want to make this one a little faster than the last one was, because the last one was a little lengthy, but we now have 1, 2, 3, 4 other ones that we can read. And today, let's see, there's what I do, people in my life, let's see, my future, and my world. You know what? Let's do my world, because you know what? I feel like it's not even arguable that right now the world is a little crazy, but yeah, let's read my world. It is 3 pages front to back. So I'm just going to read through it, and then instead of commenting after each time, this time I'm just going to read all the way through and then comment afterward. Okay. Hello again. I'm going to write about my house, which is extremely weird and stupid. I mean, let's be real. I don't even care about my world. One reason, because it sucks. Another reason is that I have 2 worlds, a world with my mom and a world with my dad. These worlds may also be known as a world in New Mexico and a world in Maryland, or a world without a dad and a world without a mom. In life, there are people who dislike each other and then people who hate each other. But you see, my parents are so much enraged by each other that they can't even have a civilized talk without steam coming through the phone. And that's when they are practically on opposite sides of the United States. Oh, imagine a face-to-face conversation. It would literally be the end of the world. I have no idea how my parents even had me, because I've never even seen them hug each other, let alone have intercourse. So, I have 2 very different worlds and 2 very similar parents. If only I can combine these worlds, and then I could make everyone happy. But equal happiness is just not something that is possible right now. It is everyone for themselves, and in order to fulfill your own happiness, you have to screw with someone else's. That's just how life is. Right now, I'm living in the world where I don't belong. This world has all the necessities that I need to live and has the ability to get anything that I ask for. This world is perfect for Kiara, but what about me? The person I want to become does not belong in this world. This world was a good fit in the past, but years have passed and this world has been pushed behind me. I am beginning to realize more and more traits that I have gained that don't fit with this world, and I'm beginning to feel like I am being kicked out from a place I have called home. This world that I am leaving is unfit for me, and although this world is pushing me away, there is one thing that is pulling me back. The one thing that is holding me back is my father. He refuses to let me leave no matter what I tell him. To be honest, it sucks. You know, having someone who can't realize that you're miserable. Talking to him about leaving is like a rabbit asking a fox to not eat them. It's absurd. Absolutely impossible to communicate with that man. How dare he say, no, you can't live with your mom? Why must he ask for reasons for me wanting to live? I don't know now about I'm miserable in New Mexico and I am tired of feeling like an outcast. Isn't that good enough reasoning? And he thinks it's a black thing, but it isn't even anymore. Now that problem is personal, not racial. I literally am an emotional wreck here. I hate everything about New Mexico. I'm tired of being here. I mean, it's been 6 years. I deserve to at least try out Maryland. I have never lived and gone to school there. It isn't fair that I never got the chance to try. My father thinks because he has bad times there that I will too. But that cannot be proven. I mean, I have gotten myself in worse trouble in New Mexico than in Maryland. My father's and I's relationship is crap and fake. He won't listen to what I tell him, and if we argue the next day, he acts like nothing happened. How is anything going to work out if he ignores the problem? The tension is slowly building in my chest, and I don't know how much longer I can stand to keep silent. I have only been staying strong because Mom is moving up. She's got a house, a job, and she may be getting a promotion too. Even Jay is getting more money now. Soon Dad won't have any excuse for not letting me go. Soon he will have to admit that I am in safe hands with Mom. Hopefully by the end of freshman year, I will be off to live in Maryland. Then my life can finally begin. I hope that my expectations will come true, but to be honest, I doubt I'll ever be able to leave New Mexico without a serious fight. Dad says I don't have a word in anything until I'm 16 years old. But I'm going to look more into what I can and can't do. I can't trust anyone now, not even my mom. There is no longer child's play. This is war, and I don't think I'm ready for a fight. Right now, all I can really focus on is school and my career in music. School isn't going so well, but music is doing fine. Wow, that's the end of my world. That's crazy. There's a lot of tea in this one. Ooh. Let's see, where should I start? Well, we already did talk about my body image last episode. My body image was really bad. I was trying to get to 110 pounds. I don't know, in this weird way I kind of relate to her because I am currently on a diet. Not trying to get to 110, but trying to lose some weight. And obviously I'm doing it in a more healthy way now, but it's just crazy to think, full circle. I was losing weight then, now I'm trying to lose weight now. It's kind of similar. And, wanting to live with my mom in Maryland. I mean, now I'm 17, I'm going to turn 18 soon. I definitely still do have, a really strong urge to leave New Mexico, but because college is expensive, I'm still gonna be here. And it's interesting to think, as a kid, I hated New Mexico so much, and I feel like my hate for my surroundings ended up becoming my hate for my dad, because my dad was the person who was keeping me in these surroundings. And it is true, when I was 15 years old, he told me when I was 16 that I would be able to choose, and obviously that time never came because I'm now 17, still here in New Mexico. And I think arguing with your parents when you're younger is always just so difficult, because it always ends up becoming I'm the older person, I'm the adult, so I get to make the decisions. And I think that still does affect me, to this day. I can't wait to be older because I can't wait to be in charge. I think I associate age with power and knowledge and wisdom, and control, mostly control. And it's interesting that even 3 years ago I was still feeling the same way of feeling trapped in between two different worlds. And I feel like now it's not so much because I'm older now and I don't really have as much as an urge to live in Maryland, but I still have feeling like I'm in two worlds, even in the realm that I am, being black and being a K-pop fan. That's two worlds that I feel like I have, to juggle sometimes. Or I think a good one is being a student and being a human being. I struggle with that one all the time because I feel like those two worlds should be separate, but I so many times intermingle them and I kind of get trapped in study mode. So it's really interesting reading about this. And a lot of bad things happen in New Mexico that that made me hate it. I dealt with a lot of bullying, a lot of racism, a lot of prejudice. At my school there was only so where I'm at, there's about 3% black people in the city. So in the school it was around that much, 1 to 2% black people at the school in middle school. And so everyone around me didn't look like me, and that kind of put me at a disadvantage. And in Maryland, that is totally the opposite. So here in New Mexico, it's like a very high Hispanic population, a very high Native American population. There's a lot of like there are also as many white people, but a lot of them are usually mixed with some sort of Hispanic or Latin background. And you know, when you're around people who don't look like you, it's not fair to compare yourself to them. However, it's very easy to compare yourself to them because you're so vastly different. So when they saw me, they were like, who are you? Like, you look weird. Your hair looks weird. Why do you talk like that? And so it was really challenging being like the smart black kid at school, because they thought I was some sort of like fascination, because a lot of the people they have met before then were like, they've only seen black people on TV, or they've read about black people in magazines. People like Beyonce, who else was I like told they loved when the Obamas came in, Michelle Obama, they were like, oh, don't you think it's so cool we have a black president now? Like, it was like everywhere that I went, I was constantly reminded that I was black. Versus in Maryland, you know, it's just normal. Like, you're one out of the hundreds of black people that are there. Like, when I go into the store, it's black majority. When I go to school, it's black majority. You know, when I walk around the streets, it's black majority. So it's like a weird thing going from like one world to a totally opposite world. And so I think that was one part that made me uncomfortable here. Obviously the racial thing is still an issue for me now. It's just, you get so used to it. I mean, how long have I been here? Like, I've been here since I was 7 years old. It's been a long time. So you really get used to it, and kind of you learn how to not take things seriously. You know, being called an Oreo, you let it go. You know, it's not nice, but you let it go. And I feel like when I was 15, I hadn't reached the letting go period. I was more in like a phase of wanting to be irritated and mad and sad and like upset that people just couldn't accept the fact that like I was a different color than them. I feel like now that I'm older, it's not as frustrating. It's still annoying, but I think for me when I was 15 years old, it was more of a psychological thing of like, there's something wrong with me, and I was constantly feeling out of place. And you know, I feel like that's still justified. I feel like I had a right to be angry, but you know, at the end of the day, life goes on, and you just have to learn to adapt to your, you know, environment. I never was put, you know, I was never bullied to the point where I felt like my life was in danger, or you know, I was never like physically hurt. I mean, I guess I've got mud in my hair once or twice, but like I've never like beaten up, you know. Not that any form of bullying is okay, but I think at the end of the day, like, I survived, and I feel like that's really more important and something that I want to focus on more now than anything. And you know, my mom's still doing great. I still talk to my mom. I have a much better relationship with my dad than I did when I was 15 years old. I mean, it's alright. We still have communication issues, but I feel like that's just black families. Like, communication is just hard. Parenting is hard. And I think he, like, at the end of the day, he did what he thought was best. And we'll have to find out if it was, you know. We'll see when I get older if it was for the best or if it wasn't. You know, there's no perfect way to raise a child. And I really think that's important. So, yeah. And, oh yeah, what else did I want to talk about? In here? I think that's it. I think that was the only thing that I wanted to say. It's very interesting. It's interesting, like, looking back on yourself and, like, the way I describe my world. Like, I didn't talk about, you know, my house, my room, my friends. I really didn't have many. And I think it proves that, because all I could talk about was Maryland and New Mexico, just being away from my parents and not having both in my household. And I feel like that's crazy that, like, my whole world was focused around this one troubling part, and I don't really think I got to appreciate any of the good things that happened when I was 15 years old. I was just so focused on the bad. And that's interesting. It's something to look back on, like, life-wise. So, yeah, I'm glad I got to read that. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it wasn't too long. If you guys have any questions, or if you guys thought that any part of my reading stood out, let me know. We still have, I actually think we still have about like 2 or 3 more to go. So yeah, this is really exciting. This is always really fun, like sharing part of me and part of my life with you guys. And I hope to hear you guys all from me soon. Make sure to comment and subscribe and like, and I'll be back with another lifestyle video in a week or so. Bye!